Hey Aquarius, what's up? We are here with a timeless reading. In the pre-shuffle, I was seeing the Devil and I was seeing the Two of Pentacles. So it feels like this is coming down to maybe what you believe is most important for you to be prioritizing. But when we have the Devil in the environment, it can mean that you could be like tempted or swayed to prioritize something else that may not benefit you as much. Let's use an example. Let's say that you're starting a creative process or that you're in the midst of something creatively and you want to prioritize things that are inspiring you. Sometimes, like with the Devil, it could represent something like, instead of prioritizing creativity, you could be prioritizing like how much you want it to appeal to a particular person, and then you could feel like you lose your creative process sort of on the way, you know, because it's like maybe wanting to see how much financially you could benefit from something, but then you feel like it may not be as authentic what it is that you're creating. Give me something like that, just an example. Devil can be lots of different things. But it can have us like focusing on something or prioritizing something that is like sort of empty spiritually. Even though like everything is spirit technically, you can feel like you're sort of missing the point at times, or like tempted to anyway. We're starting off with the Queen of Wands. Speaking of creativity, okay, strong Leo immediately. Some of you, I'm getting something about embossing. This is feeling like fashion, artistic. That's not for everybody, but that vibe is definitely coming through, which makes sense too for the Leo. I do feel like in this area of your life right now, having Queen of Wands is like, I want to show up in a way that makes sense for me, in a way that feels authentic to me, and I want it to be unapologetic. So it's like, I don't want to have to question, like, are they going to like this? Or what are they going to think about it? Or am I being judged? It's like, you can feel all of those things, but it's about doing your thing anyway. That's what Queen of Wands and Strength card is about. Because when we think about the energy of Leo and also the energy of the Queen of Wands, it's about showing up and being like, I don't need people to like me. I don't need people to agree with me. Like, that's not even something that I'm going to be prioritizing here. I want to prioritize myself and what feels right for me, so I can show up in a way where I'm like in my skin and comfortable in my skin because I'm showing up in an authentic way. So it's about pleasing yourself even, and it's about being original, but not just for the sake of being original. It's being original because you're being yourself. That's why. It just happens naturally. It's organic. But maybe you feel like you're tested. Queen of Wands is like, I see this being connected with the way that we're showing up and sort of like how we're presenting ourselves too. And to have Strength card here, like that may be challenged. Like somebody may be like, no, you fit in this box. And you're like, but that doesn't feel like me. It doesn't feel authentic to me. So maybe there's a way that you want to show up and show out even. This doesn't even have to be in your personal life, even though it can be. But maybe you're like, no, I feel like people see me within my personal life, but maybe in my public life or maybe with my art or something like that, I just want to show up and be myself. So I also want to, there's a sense of vulnerability within this because there's like that armor isn't there. It's like feeling like we don't need to shield ourselves. And having Strength here means too that you may be in an adverse situation that's telling you to do something else, but you need to show up in this way where you need to be authentic. because that's where the Queen of Wands gets their confidence from being authentic. I'm seeing the Six of Cups. I don't know why that's funny. I'm just getting something, some vibe coming through here. Show up for yourself. Six of Cups, Six of Pentacles. This feels like needing to... Maybe something's being worked out here. I feel like you have to show up in a strong energy, like that's what's being suggested. So it's just... Like Leo is going to be the opposite of hiding away. It's like taking center stage and being that. But with this Six of Cups and with the Six of Pentacles, there could be something from your past that's coming up. I don't know if it's just something that's stayed sticking with you or that's impacting you now, or it's like someone from the past that's feeling relevant, like even in your face currently. I feel like this is going to get complicated. What I'm seeing definitely be relevant here, with Six of Pentacles and the Hierophant, Hierophant can be like the things that you value and the things that are important to you. And Six of Pentacles can sort of be like figuring out what that is, especially when it comes to the way that we engage with others. Six of Cups, Six of Pentacles. And about our standards and what we want. And what's important to us. So I am seeing, okay, this is going to be a different type of reading. I'm seeing, so we do have the Hierophant showing up, but I'm seeing Three of Pentacles be connected with it. So you're working with the Hierophant, but because I'm seeing the Hanged Man come out after, it may be like in a different way than you initially think. So you could even have somebody coming up or somebody that did come up that you had an experience with, and you could have been like, yep, this is why I'm working with this person. It's like, why you think that you and this person have been brought together, or you and this energy have been brought together, but to have the Hanged Man here, it's like there's actually another reason, but you may not be seeing it. But then I'm seeing the Chariot, so I do think that you're going to realize. The Hanged Man can sometimes be annoying popping up because it's like something is on the tip of my tongue, or there's like a realization that I'm going to have, but I don't feel like I'm there yet. And like that can be frustrating for all of us, right? It's like, I want to find out, I want to know what this is. What am I not seeing? But that's also like the whole point of this. It's saying like there's more to be realized, there's more to be seen. And it seems like that's going to be the key to getting you moving maybe in the way that you want to, Chariot. So maybe you feel like something is stagnant until you sort of like realize or come to like some sort of conclusion here. And then after that happens, you're going to be able to move in a way, or when I say move, I mean there could be something challenging that you're facing currently. And you may be like, the key is somewhere, and I'm looking for the key. And the key resides with the Hanged Man. So this means that You have to flip upside down in order to find the key here. Like, you have to see from a different perspective. There's something even spiritually to be gained, because Neptune is a very spiritual energy. So there's something about reframing things or seeing it differently. But it's not only a reframing, because Hanged Man is about like an elevated point of view. So it's still going to incorporate what you were seeing before, but it's also going to incorporate more than what you were seeing before. It's like you had one angle before, maybe the Hanged Man is going to give you 2 more angles to see from, so we get a better idea actually of the bigger picture. And it seems like that's what's exactly needed in order to get to the Chariot. So it's like the key to overcoming this current obstacle that you're facing would be this thing of realizing why you and this energy, or you and this person, had been brought together to work together with one another. Like, why were they brought into your life? Because I'm seeing the Hierophant, like, it doesn't have to be a person. It can be a person, but it can be more than that. It can be like a community, it can be a background, it can be like any sort of demographic. It can also be like religion can be tied into this too. It can be like the head of something or somebody in charge of something. It can be someone in an authority role. It can just be a Taurus. You know, there are lots of different things that the Hierophant can be, but it's something that I feel like with whatever this Hierophant is representing for you, I feel like it was connected with a polarity of some sort, meaning it was like in some sort of extreme, it seems. So there would have been a very maybe like palpable interaction that you had between like you and this thing, or you and this person. And I'm seeing too that it was like definitely meant to be a catalyst to teach you more about your values and your beliefs. For some of you, this is something that happened like way in the past for you, to have 6 of Cups here. Like, this could have even been in childhood for some of you. For others of you, it could have been the more recent past. But I do get that it was meant to... So with the Hierophant, when we're not... The Hierophant is something that we can give something outside of ourselves an authority over us. Having you come out as Queen of Wands and Strength card feels like you taking back that sense of authority and assigning it to you, rather than giving something outside of yourself that authority. And maybe that's like also something that was realized here too, because Hierophant can be somebody that's like important, or an authority of some sort, where it's like, oh, I'll just like listen to what they say or what they're thinking, or like my parents raised me in this religion. And because, just an example, and having you come out in this Queen of Wands and the Strength card, it's like you taking that back, you taking your agency back here, rather than giving the power over to something or someone else that you may actually not even resonate with. And it's interesting too to have 6 of Pentacles here, because this speaks about an exchange rather than a disconnect or a lack of balance with the power. So I do feel like this was like a past relationship or a past experience. But rather than it like pushing you more into like a polarity of some sort, it was meant to like teach you more about yourself, it seems, and being authentic to you. And maybe like what agrees or doesn't agree with you. But I'm getting that there's still like even more that's being learned about this situation that you were in. But it definitely, at the end of the day, it was meant to like teach you to be strong and teach you to be yourself. But to have the Hierophant, it could have been something that there was like an attempt to suppress you in some way. But it could have stopped you from showing up in a way that actually is like part of how you'd naturally show up. Because the Hierophant can also be like rules and traditions, right? So it could be like the way that you were raised by a parent or a guardian or a family member, or just whatever situation was happening as you were growing up. This is just another example where it was like, we don't do that here. Now that you're getting older, you're like, this was a part of me that I cut off, that maybe now you're reconnecting with, is what it feels like. Because at the end of the day, like whatever this is, it's like ultimately about being you with the Queen of Wands and the Strength card. But I feel like based off of something that happened, it could have had you maybe not showing up in this way. Because Strength would say that this would be something difficult. Six of Cups feels like it's because of an experience in the past that you had, that maybe showed you not to do this, or like discouraged you from showing up authentically. And you could have taken this by, like, just the vibe that I get from the Hierophant being here could have been like, okay, well, I can't be myself because it's important to follow these rules, Hierophant. Or like, they told me that this was wrong, or like it wasn't okay, you know, like whatever these old traditions are with the Hierophant. But I'm getting that, like, your initial takeaway is different, or it's going to be different. And that's why the Hanged Man is here. So it can be like, I always grew up thinking that this was right, or that this was wrong, or that this was okay, or this wasn't okay. And now I'm like taking back that authority so I can actually be myself and love myself and show up in a way that feels authentic to me. I'm like trying to think of a good example here of like how this could even play out. You know, it feels like maybe there was something that was like non-traditional about you in some way, and that's like what came into question here with the Hierophant. You know, it can be something like you're a guy, okay, and you're raised in a very conservative household and you wanted to paint your nails. Like, it can be really anything at all. That it was like looked down upon, frowned upon to be showing up in this way, and now you're like maybe allowing yourself to do this sort of thing. I do feel like you showed up maybe in a compliant way in order to get love or to receive love. For some of you, this was about a parent situation that you had. But I'm seeing there be like heartbreak because like the exchange actually wasn't balanced between you guys. But having Six of Pentacles can be like, I'm trying to show up, I'm trying to be like appeasing even, and I was younger too, and there was like some sort of authority here. Six of Cups, Six of Pentacles, and the Hierophant. So it can be like, I was taught to act like this and to conform like this. But then feeling like there was a lack of acceptance. And so the lack of acceptance that you would have experienced outside of yourself from this authority was because of you, well, it would have been subconscious at the time, right? Because of you assigning this authority to something or someone outside of yourself. So now by you taking that back, it sort of like changes the situation for you. And it can be something too where it's like you were raised to like grow up and marry this person or not marry this person, or to be with someone that has this type of job, or you needed to have that type of job. Like, it can really just be anything. But it was something that, like, you being fit into a piece of clothing that just never fit you because it wasn't you. feel really stuck. I feel really stuck on something going on here that I feel like has not fully been realized yet. Just like this vibe of having the Hanged Man here next to the Three of Pentacles. I do feel like there's understanding of like why you were brought together with this energy in order to work together, but Hanged Man feels like it hasn't completely been realized yet. Like maybe there are still reasons, like there are still maybe purposes that haven't completely been realized yet of like why you were meant to have that interaction. But having Chariot here, I do feel like you're going to realize, but I feel like your guides are pushing this through in a way where they're like, there's more, there's more, there's more. Look into this more. So down here, we are looking at Knight of Wands, the Moon, Two of Swords, Three of Swords, Judgment, Eight of Pentacles. Knight of Wands is about what you want to do, what you want to do, what you want to go towards, what is important to you, what feels inspiring to you and moving in that direction. The Moon, what may be hidden currently, needing to make a decision. Three of Swords, probably not an easy one, but then also needing to sort of reflect on and pay attention to what it is that we've been putting our energy into. It's like something that you've been doing, something that you've been carrying on here. The Hierophant can be a marriage too, or like a commitment of some sort. But it can also be like a community, it can be an establishment. I feel like that was either the Four of Cups or Temperance. Why should it be neither? Who is this? Four of Cups. Okay. Just like straight up what I'm seeing here is that something has not fully been realized, but the reason why is because there's a resistance to realizing this thing, and that's why you're not moving with something, because there's like this part of you that almost doesn't want to. It can be like this, right? Like the solution to the problem is in front of you, but there's a part of you that may still want to have a problem and may not want to have this thing be resolved, so we're moving on from it. Kind of like the devil you know is better than the one you don't. It's like, yeah, this is a problem and I'm moving through it and this is my problem, but maybe you've like come to like that this is your problem now at this point. That's just the energy that I'm getting from, yeah, because it's something, it's like something or someone that you've been working with is what I'm seeing. And to have Hanged Man is like, I'll give you the solution if you want, but then having Five of Wands is you being like, I didn't hear you just say that you had this solution. So it's like this part of you that's like, well, if you want the truth, you got it. If you want the solution, you got it. It's right here. But then Five of Wands is like, but I don't want to know. I don't want the solution. I don't want to solve this. And I'm seeing that it's because of like not wanting to get in the Chariot and move, which would mean that like this is solved then. This is so ironic, this whole thing here. So it's not that you like don't have the answer, you do, but it's just something that you're resistant to seeing because you may feel familiar with this thing that you're working in and you may kind of like it. And there's also nothing wrong with that, you know? Sometimes we're not ready to be done with something. It's just where you are right now. But I am seeing it be like, your guides are like, so you don't have to be in this cycle anymore. And you're like, I don't know if I'm done with it yet. I don't know if I want to. But the thing is too, like, it's also interesting as well because I'm not seeing this be like a completely enjoyable cycle. Like, this isn't like I'm having so much fun, I don't want to get off the ride. This is more so like it's been like pretty difficult moving through this at times. It's been like pretty challenging. So you would almost think that somebody would like want to be done with this. but there's like maybe some sort of attachment still that you have. And that's also, it's like bringing me back to, in the pre-shuffle, I was seeing the Devil and the Two of Pentacles. So this can mean you're prioritizing like an attachment right now that you may look at and be like, maybe this isn't, I'm hearing welfare, maybe this isn't like in my best interest to be doing, but it can be like prioritizing things that are devil related rather than maybe the stuff that you should be prioritizing, or the things that, I don't know, you may just still feel like you're in a bit of a matrix situation within this. Let me look at it some more. I'm seeing Leo and I'm seeing Pisces. I'm seeing, I'm hearing Moon. I'm seeing Taurus and I'm seeing Pluto. I'm seeing Neptune. I'm seeing Cancer here. What a strange and interesting thing to see. It's like not wanting to be done with the problem. Like it can be done, but not wanting to be done with it. All right, let's break this down another way to get more insight. I'm seeing Queen of Wands and I'm seeing Knight of Wands. So this can be somebody being like, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I want to go towards, with all of this fire energy over here, Queen of Wands, Knight of Wands, the Strength card. This is like, this is how I'm feeling, I'm showing up, this is what I want to be doing, and just being very expressive about that. So it's like not holding back at all, being just very, very open and very, very upfront and very bold. And yeah, just like acting out the scene, you know? What I'm seeing then is the Moon though, and the Six of Cups. So this can mean like what's hidden. And remember too, like having these two court cards, this can be two people. It can be like somebody that wants to go towards another person, as much as it can also be us wanting to go towards something. To have the Strength card, it may not be easy for a person to go towards what they want, or it would be like a challenge to show up. Even though it's something that they're capable of doing, they would need to be like totally willing to do this, okay? Having Moon and having Six of Cups, this can mean something from the past or someone from this person's past being hidden. A decision that needs to be made that's connected with the past, okay? But I'm seeing Six of Pentacles and I'm seeing Three of Swords. So this can mean that, I feel like there are 5 different stories going on here. So this can mean that in the past, there was like a hope and a desire for things to be reciprocal, but that was not the case. Because Six of Pentacles is like, I hope they like me back, or like, I hope that we have compatible values. And then Three of Swords says that's not what happened. Or like, I want them to treat me like this, but then that's like not how they ended up showing up. It's something like that happened where someone did not feel valued and they felt very hurt because of that. Then we have the Hierophant and we have Judgment. So this is sort of like needing to look at things from a more moral high ground even, and needing to sort of even look at this by embracing a philosophical perspective, because when we think about the Hierophant, you think about the higher mind, and when you think about Judgment, you think about really understanding something, but not just in like a 3D way. This is more like you sort of connecting with like your higher self and your understanding of the world and how people work, right? Because the Hierophant is a very learned energy, and it's one that's very spiritual as well, and one that's very evolved too. So needing to sort of look at this and break this down from that perspective, and like even apply one's belief systems to this. Having Three of Pentacles, having Eight of Pentacles, someone, something that we've been working with. But remember, like Hierophant can also be your guides. It can be you working with that part of yourself. To have Hanged Man and to have Five of Wands here, it can be like we need to sort of shift our understanding, our perspective of what's going on here. But Five of Wands can be resistance to doing that. So as I said before, and then Chariot and the Four of Cups. This is like if somebody would just, hold on. We need to go back to the Hierophant here. Hierophant can be, I see things this way and I'm not changing. These are my beliefs and I am going to be very rigid about it. That can also be the issue with the Hierophant. Like, you think about the Taurian energy and the 9th house energy. It's like, this is my belief. But the Hierophant can be very traditional and it can be very old-fashioned. And it can be very rigid because Taurus is a fixed earth sign. So you think about being very stubborn. This is my way of seeing things and I don't care what anybody else thinks. This is my opinion and I'm going to stand on that. And it can be like that, but to the point where it doesn't allow us to see from another perspective, because we're so zoomed in and also like so zoned into how we're used to seeing things and what we believe, that's like the only way that it can be. So it feels even like needing to maybe see from another person's perspective that like my way is not the only way. That's what this is feeling like. Because somebody over here could have like a very well developed belief system here and be like, this is the only right way to be seeing things, Hierophant. But it can be not allowing us to see maybe in a more multifaceted way. And that's also why the Hanged Man is here. It's like, yes, you see that way and that way is valid, but there are also other ways to be able to frame and see this. But the Hierophant can be like, nope, no other ways. I'm not going to look at this any other way. So it can be very, very rigid and unbending and unwilling to incorporate and unwilling to adjust. So that's why the Hierophant is here, and that's also why the Hanged Man is here, and that's also why the 5 of Wands is here too. Because it's showing where somebody's like rigid belief system is getting in the way, which this is a willing thing, getting in the way of them seeing from another perspective, which those other perspectives are valid too, but because somebody is like really set in their ways within this perspective, they're having a very, very hard time seeing things any other way. And so even though this person knows, if I like put on this person's like viewfinder for a minute and looked at it that way, there would be a solution here and it is available, but this person doesn't want to do that. They're like refusing to. So that's really what this issue comes down to. And Hierophant too can be this very firm, like, this is right and this is wrong, but it's more so like it's not justice, it's the Hierophant. So even though they can be similar with one another, justice is more like without our personal beliefs. It's more like value related of like what's fair and what's not. With the Hierophant, it's more so like more subjective beliefs because it has that like religious undertone or spiritual undertone to it. So this is somebody that they're just very much seeing from their perspective and unwilling to look at it from another person's perspective, even though if they did, that would like resolve things and then we would be able to move forward. But I'm seeing them like not want to do this. And also coming back to this thing where it's like this person knows that then things would be able to be resolved. Like I'm seeing there be almost an awareness of this, but I'm getting them like they almost don't want to move on from it. It's like they still want it to be a problem. So just know that like if you guys are dealing with somebody where it's like I feel like there is a possibility of solving things with them, or that like it doesn't have to be like this, but they're very stuck in their ways, they're stuck in their perspective and they won't even bother to see from mine. It's like it's because they don't want to. And they also like want to have a problem. I'm seeing it very blatantly. They want to have a problem, but they may not be. I don't know how aware of this they are, but I feel like they are aware of it though. I feel like there has to be at least like a half conscious awareness of this. So where does that leave us? Like, what does this all mean, guys? Is it just talking about how like there is a possibility of moving forward, but the reason we're not is because at least one party doesn't want to, they're refusing to, and that's sort of why we're not going anywhere with this? Because it feels like what's out in the open is somebody standing here having this feeling of like, I want to go towards something, I want to go in a particular direction, but it's not easy for me because of all of this other stuff that's happening. I feel like maybe this is a reading specifically for those of you that like you have a problem and you're very stuck in your ways as far as your perspective here, and you're like, how do I break out of this? And maybe you're like coming around to not really wanting this to be an issue anymore. Seeing things from another person's perspective doesn't mean that you're abandoning your beliefs though, and that's also what's important to having the Hanged Man. It's not like you're casting this away and you have like just very flexible morals, you know, that are just convenient for you. It's about seeing from a more zoomed out perspective than maybe your beliefs allow. Because Hierophant can also be like kind of righteous, you know? And that's something that, like, there's nothing wrong with being righteous in itself, right? But it's something that can trap us. But just like, this is a very intuitive feeling. I do get the vibe of someone's guides being like, hey, do you want the key? We got it for you. And this person being like, no, like, don't give it to me. Like, go back. Something like that. Where it's like, there very much is an answer and like a solution here. But I just, like, how do you have Chariot and Four of Cups? It's like, we can get out of here. We can move on from this. And the person's like, no, I don't want to. Like, stop offering me the answer. Stop offering me the solution. It's like that. But also, like, that's their choice too. That's very much their choice if they don't want to stay stuck within this. But like, if you guys are if you guys are interacting with somebody right now and you're like, I feel like they don't have to be in that position, it's because they want to be. This is this person's choice. That's what they want to do. That's where they are. There's nothing wrong with where they are. It's our responsibility when we see somebody else's journey and maybe we don't agree with it, or we're being judgmental of it in some way, or like we want to fix it or we want to do whatever. That's our work to do on ourselves, not for us to be trying to change them. They're right where they're supposed to be. But some of you are not going to be waiting around for this person anymore, but you may want to still. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I am wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.